estamos de volta com mais um vídeo de Disque Elysium aqui no canal. E hoje...
All around you, rain falls on the great city of Revachol. Rain drips from the eaves and floods the gutters, washing the filth away. The spring thaw must be here. The snow is melting.
O que eu estou fazendo?
Looking up at the sky, cold water dripping from your hat.
O que eu vejo?
Grey sky like great battleships, clouds colliding with one another. Rain falls down on the world.
Como é?
Your shirt sticks to your chest. The shoulders of your jacket grow heavy. The cold finds its way under your skin. You shiver, and the city shivers with you. You're not dressed for this weather. You should get an overcoat or a patrol cloak.
O que há no oeste?
Sheets of rain over the water. A flight of stairs leading into the ocean. Wave after wave washing the coast of Martinez, with its motorboats and gently swaying reeds. The ruins of a half-sunken sea fort crumble on an inlet beyond the Bay of Revachol. Ghosts rise into the sky.
Quem são vocês, fantasmas?
The skyscrapers of La Delta, the financial district. Faint golden light seeps from the office windows.
O que há na costa?
Urban coastline, rain dripping off Eternite-covered roofs. Cinder blocks left over from half-finished construction. A defunct research and development building, once seized by revolutionaries. An old wooden church stands on stilts above the water.
E além disso?
Coal City, end of all lines.
Passa os dedos pelos seus cabelos úmidos. O que há no leste?
There's a fleet on the corner. A plastic coat is folded into a small triangle under the counter by the window. Beyond that, the strike breakers have gathered. The great gates of the industrial harbour are locked. A chill runs down your back. You shudder like an animal trying to shake water from its hide.
Cerra os dentes para parar de estremecer. Pode ser.
Behind the gates, heaps of supply crates, red and blue metal shipping containers, slick with rain. The Greater Revachol Industrial Harbour is an artificial mountain range. Immense wealth resides within, and immeasurable poverty in its shadow.
E além disso?
La Drusienne, King Dri's passenger harbour. Cruise ships flanked by dock arms. Cranes watching over the mouth of the river distributary. Couronne, the lower middle class. Distributary after distributary cuts the city blocks in half. 7-story buildings trail off into the rain.
Eu esqueci de ler, né? O que há do outro lado do distributário. Mas ok, o que há além de Cauron?
A silvery curtain of rain over the houses. The class divide. You have never been there. They don't need the law east of the river.
O que há no norte? Caraca, o problema é que isso aqui tá... passando meu tempo, né, velho? Mas tá, o que há no norte?
Tower blocks crowd one another. 4.46mm bullets still lodged in their war-torn stone walls.
Cara, eu tô puto até agora com aquela parede que eu não consegui, né?
Hallways collapse from the mortar hits of a war that was lost long ago. Clotheslines go to waste in the rain. Radios play.
Roupas nos varais se perdem, né? Não é sem perdem, não faria sentido.
Midnight news and reruns.
E mais perto daqui?
A yard. Rain falls onto the roof of a woodshed. The lingering odor of decomposition mixes with that of damp soil.
O que há no sul?
A traffic jam. Rain thrumming on the roofs of motor vehicles. Inside, drivers watch water streaming down their windshields. The statue of a king shudders. He too is cold. The canal bridge has been raised.
O que há do outro lado?
The road ascends. A raised motorway loops above the ghetto. Beneath its concrete columns, a sea of rooftops, woodwork, and tar stretches northward. 4-story buildings as far as the rain can fall. The snows melt in Jamrock.
E cadê a quebrada? Estremeça, olhe mais longe.
In the rain-swept distance, above the rooftops of Jamrock, a repurposed silk mill stands perched above the motorway exit. Precinct 41 hunches in the rain. Your vision blurs. You wipe your face with your hand. The rain stings your eyes, making you look up and blink.
Ah, agora liberou o que há acima.
Coalition aerostatics hang like apparitions under the cloud cover. Way up there, where rain forms, rotors flutter silently. Your sight clears.
Ok, filho da puta.
These spring thaw will not last. The winter will return to Revachol.
Tá, full à toa isso, né? Eu tô com 2 a mais de físico. Inclusive, deixa eu botar isso daqui de volta. Deixa isso daí, né? E eu vou pensar agora... Tirar isso. Tem alguma coisa que precisa de físico? Container de lixo ou alter? Alter, né? Eu podia tentar usar alter. Cadê? Tinha esquecido disso. Já que isso daqui eu perdi, eu vou ter que esperar o gelo descongelar, né? É engraçado, eu não gosto tanto de explorar sem um Kim, não. E eu sinto que tá faltando algo. Porque, sei lá, eu não tenho muita coisa pra esconder do Kim, não. Pelo menos não o personagem que eu tô moldando, né? Calma aí, lanterna. Ah, não é pra cá não, não é pra cá não, calma aí. Pra cá, né? Aqui, ó.
The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master.
Caraca, 8%? Ah, esse daqui no máximo aumenta, sei lá. Não vai aumentar o suficiente, não.
The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master.
Isso aqui é uma checagem branca, né? Cara, eu vou tentar. Eu não vou morrer. Então... Eu tenho 3, eu tenho que tirar 14? É isso? Não, mas eu tenho 3 mais 1. Ah, sei lá, vamos lá. Deu errado, né? Sabia, imaginei.
You manage to hoist it off the ground, but the barbell feels wobbly and dangerous. Your hands slick with sweat. Turns out you're no beast, just an old man with bad form.
Beleza. Tentei, né? Tentei. Tá fechada? Ah, tá fechada. Uma pessoa, ela me contou... assim... Infelizmente não, né? Uma pessoa me contou que tem como eu comprar um mapa. Eu nem sabia disso. Depois de eu dormir, quando a loja abrir, eu vou lá comprar. Eu não sabia disso não, velho. Ai, ai. Tô até agora sem um mapa. Assim, é necessário um mapa? Não é. Mas é bom, né? Ajuda, né? Tá, agora que eu já tentei isso... Porta protegida. Onde que é essa porta? Sugestão. Ah, tá. É, não tem nada exatamente que eu possa fazer aqui não, né? O enforcado. Isso aqui eu já fiz do enforcado, pô. Então vamos lá. O que eu farei agora? Pensa, Vitor, pensa. Tem algo que eu possa fazer neste momento? Eu acho que não. O livro parece ser erótico, mas sem erotismo de verdade. Eu acho que eu vou fazer o seguinte. Quando eu fui visitar... Caraca, a criança tá aqui às meia-noite e 35, meu Deus. Quando eu vim aqui antes, o cara não atendeu, né?
The door has braved the elements for decades. The key stops midway in the lock. The tenant's key. You should leave. Leave. Before...
Tá, não dá pra fazer nada não. Eu pensei que se eu estivesse sozinho, talvez tivesse uma chance, mas acho que não. Então, vamos analisar. Karaokê. Putz, eu preciso de uma fita triste? Não. Tatuagem. Calça. Arma, autoridade. Ofereça a estatueta a Dolores Day. Esse aqui tem que fazer isso. Ah, tem que ligar amanhã. Informar a Lena. Só isso, né? Ah, e a garota, mas agora tá tarde também. Mas parando pra pensar, eu comprar o mapa ia ser essencial por causa do fast travel, né? Porque, por exemplo, eu ter que voltar lá pra aldeia vai ser um saco. Pra dormir agora, né? Na verdade, eu nem sei se eu consigo dormir, porque... Teoricamente, tô com o negócio lá que dá insônia. Vazio o lugar. Nada pra pegar aqui, não. Ah, então a mulher não tá aqui, então é só ir embora mesmo, né? Ok, vou meter o pé então. Vamos lá pra vila, né? Passei pelo lugar errado. É chato ter que dar essa volta toda, né? Ainda mais nevando assim, né? Ah, eu tinha que descobrir um lugar pra gente sair, né? Até agora eu não descobri. Verdade, tem isso.
It's getting late, and...
Entrar na choupana logo. E... Cara, eu preciso do mapa, né? Preciso realmente, parando pra pensar assim, eu preciso.
The bed is comforting.
Vá dormir.
Across the room, the heating system hums its soft lullaby. The mattress feels soft and sheets warm. It only takes you moments for the world to fall away.
Thoughts, baby. A million little lights in the dark. You're one fine instrument, brother. All those faces and all those names. All that laughter and screaming and scheming around. Every corner and every street. Recorded in you forever on Faraday.
Esses sonhos, ok, girando na eternidade.
On and on it goes, for untold hours. At the disco where you first asked her to dance. Rising, rising, above the dark curvature, the great wingspan of sleep, studded with stars. Behold, there are millions of them down there. The first time, the last time, the smoke in her mouth, the plotted flowers, the faces turning, changing.
O que é isso?
It's the world, Harry boy, and you're made of it. Every day you're out there, you make more of yourself from it. I'm afraid you can't be unmade now. You can never forget this shit.
As cores, as vozes, a chuva, a neve, eu não quero, é bonito. Fala isso.
Beautiful. It's stuck on loop, whirling, spitting out words and images. You're the son of the world again. Harrister, a ceaseless agent, picking up litter and old newspapers, collecting your little bubblegum wrappers and idiotic picture postcards. Meaningless, meaningless keepsakes. Reading your awful letters and recalling things, aren't you? The endless names of the world. An address book you are. The map of a city.
Está certo, eu sou um agente do mundo.
You'll go insane if you keep going like this. One more day, and you'll be in the loony bin. I just know you will. And for what, brother man?
For the money, baby. For the greater good.
Solving your little crossword puzzles. Doing your tasks. Crossing names off lists. Trying to become some sort of world detector. It won't make it okay. It won't put smoke back in her mouth.
Estou apenas cuidando dos meus próprios interesses econômicos. Estou progredindo, um progresso comedido e contínuo. Por algum motivo não falou, mas ok, lá vai ele novamente. O nosso Harry é um verdadeiro animal político. Ele ainda não percebe que é o mundo que está mudando ele.
He's got no idea what he's in for.
Por quê?
'Cause only love can break your heart.
Sinto o travesseiro sobre sua bochecha.
Beep, beep, beep. The alarm is ringing, Harry. The disco circus goes on and on. You barely slept 3 hours last night.
Do it for the wind. Do it for the picture puzzle. Put it all together. Solve the world. One conversation at a time.
Eu gosto da voz da lógica. É a que uma das que eu mais ouço, inclusive, né? Mas eu gosto.
Good. You're up. Listen, there's something that's been bothering you for a few days now.
Oh, meu Deus, o que é?
It's a suspicion, or a feeling really, that things are not quite in hand around here. An earth-shattering deduction from your psyche. What will those guys come up with next? Every day, things seem to spin more and more wildly, out of control. The center isn't holding. And despite your efforts to moderate and contain these energies, things only seem to be getting worse.
Ok, espere, eu pensei que as coisas estivessem indo bem.
Oh, sure. You've been making progress on your case, interviewing people, solving side tasks. But who's focusing on the big questions?
Ah, pronto. Eu presumi que pessoas mais qualificadas e altamente credenciadas estavam cuidando dessas coisas.
But have you ever seen them? How do you know they're even there? More importantly, how do you know they aren't waiting for your participation?
Ah, empatia, pelo amor de Deus, o que eu deveria fazer?
You've got to find out who bears la responsibility.
O que é exatamente la responsabilité?
The most awesome, terrible thing. It is human nature to crave la responsibility and to deny it. That's why it must be distributed across many different organizations, agencies, offices, and portfolios.
Eu pensei que estava atribuindo responsabilidade pelo homicídio.
Harry, you're thinking about this too narrowly. La responsibility isn't concerned with trivial questions like who killed who. It's about the real issues, the human welfare index, the price of staple goods, the transition to real democracy.
Olha só, ok, muito bem, me dê aqui, eu vou aceitar a responsabilidade.
Whoa. This isn't some kind of dictatorship. You can simply seize la responsibility for yourself. It must be given by legitimate authority, like a committee.
E quem participaria desse comitê?
Only the most even-keeled minds in Martinez.
Ah, pronto.
Your half-brother, the lieutenant, is a natural place to start. Together, you'll be able to discover who has la responsibility in Revershaw. And, if necessary, you'll have the wisdom and expertise to assign it among yourselves.
E o que acontece quando tivermos atribuído a responsabilidade?
Most likely, your findings will be collected in a report, which will be carefully reviewed by your superiors. Once they've reviewed it, those same superiors will produce a set of recommendations to be taken up at the next meeting of the Standing Committee. Rest assured, no matter what happens, it will be done through the proper channels.
Estou preparado para assumir essa incrível farda. Aceita a tarefa.
Good luck. Your report is eagerly anticipated.
Assumiu la responsabilité. Forme um comitê de moralistas para atribuir responsabilidade. O Kim deve saber por onde começar. Caraca. Que ideia. Mas é cada ideia, eu vou te contar. Eu já fiz o negócio do...
An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see
Ah,
this
isso aqui deu errado, né? Nossa, eu fiquei muito puto, verdade. Nossa, eu fiquei tão puto com isso ter dado errado, velho. Porque era uma porcentagem muito alta.
Yes?
Kim, nós precisamos conversar sobre responsabilidade.
I'm glad to hear it, detective. I was wondering when we'd get to this very subject.
Bom, então estamos falando na mesma língua, então.
If you ask me, it's high time for you to put the bottle away. Sober up, get back to basics. That would be my advice.
Não, eu quis dizer la responsabilité. Você sabe, o tipo que é atribuída.
Why are you pronouncing it like you are a coalition bureaucrat? You know what? Forget it. What specifically are you trying to assign responsibility for?
Abra bem os braços por toda essa situação. Não, pelo assassinato.
But isn't that our job?
Não, é muito mais sutil do que isso. Há toda uma dimensão histórica ou socioeconômica nisso.
Now I understand.
O tenente acena com a cabeça gravemente.
Next, I suppose you're going to tell me you need to form a committee to assign this responsibility?
Sim, exatamente.
Fascinating. And here I believed your recent turn toward moralism was just an act. In any event, I am just a humble law official. I may work under the moral intern's umbrella, but I'm certainly not qualified to serve on any committee.
Ah, para de falsa modéstia.
You know who might be, though? That Mr. Heidelstein, the gentleman near the Fell building with the distinctive way of speaking. Now, was there anything else?
É justo, nada, tá bom. Parece uma boa escolha, realmente. Deixa eu conversar com a menina agora. Que eu quero a bota, né? É a bota que ela tá ou é a luva? Acho que é a luva, né? É seguro e quente aqui, diferente lá de fora.
Hello, mister.
Olá, senhor, filho do pescador, acena pra você. Ouvi dizer que havia uma garota aqui que usava luvas blindadas. Era você?
Oh, I had gloves. Very big ones. Heavy, too.
Where did you get these gloves?
Found them when Lemmy and I were playing hide and seek. In an empty house. Where no one lives. I think someone hid them there.
She doesn't want you to think she stole them.
E onde estão as luvas agora?
I hid them. The twins were gonna take them. They're stupid.
Ela levanta o brinquedo de pelúcia e examina o ouro que sobrou, como se procurasse uma aprovação.
We are going to need those gloves. It's for important police business.
Enuncia as duas últimas sílabas... Calma, Eita, enuncia as duas últimas palavras com cuidado.
Oh.
Ela parece não entender, mas o tom do tenente transmitiu a ela a parte importante.
They're in my sandcastle. Behind our house. Under the sand. You can break the castle. It's not very good.
Ok, obrigado. Muito obrigado, menininha. Eita. Eu vou primeiro pegar a luva e depois eu quero comprar o mapa e depois eu não sei mais o que. Depois eu vejo se o gelo descongelou e vambora. Falou que tá atrás da casa, no castelo de areia. Isso aqui?
Weather has not been kind to Lily's little sandcastle. The once mighty towers are quickly eroding away. You can see something shining back to you from what must have been a vast underground catacomb network.
Quebrado.
The little castle? The reigning lord must have come upon some really tough times to let it slip in such decrepitude.
Alcança as catacumbas e retira o objeto brilhante.
The walls and floors give way to the giant's greed, collapse and present you with a pair of ceramic gauntlets.
Congratulations. That's the gauntlets down then. We're doing good on the armor collection front.
Deixa eu colocar essa de volta, né? Mais 2 de iteração. 2 de iteração é bom. Porque a outra luva que eu usava dava 1 de iteração. Era essa calça que eu usava? Deixa eu tirar o máximo possível de coisa que dá... alguma coisa negativa. Pois daqui dá Império, Interior e Evolução. Isso aqui dá drama, drama é interessante. Acho que tá bom agora, né? Ok. Mais um feito. Deixa eu ver uma coisa aqui. Ah, continua só a mesma coisa aberta, né? Vamos lá que agora eu quero o mapa. Será que eu vou conseguir esse mapa, né? Que assim, eu ouvi falar que existe, né? E o cara me falou que era na livraria. Agora... eu já tive lá e já vi o que eu acho que seja o mapa. Mas por que eu não comprei da primeira vez? Eu não sei. O cara que eu tenho que conversar... Eita! Eita! Ah, cara, agora não. Calma, deixa eu comprar o mapa primeiro. Deixa eu desfocar, não. Por favor. Eu acho que o mapa fica aqui em cima. Nenhuma pessoa em sã consciência colocaria a cabeça em tal máquina. Que máquina? É esse daqui que eu acho que é o mapa?
Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner.
Exatamente. Eu acho que da primeira vez eu fiquei com preguiça ou eu não queria gastar tempo, algo do tipo.
The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinez.
Olhe para o mapa de Insulíndia.
This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is La Caillou. You are here. Another far away in the southwest, Seminese Islands, Ile de Fantôme.
O que mais?
Ozon, Laurentide, Fas Alamir, Archipelagos, North Arcade Islands, all just specks of dust on the vastness of the Insulindic. On the edges of the map, the color fades into a blur of dotted lines, black and white, disintegrating into mathematics.
Aperte os olhos primeiro. Você consegue ver cidade nas ilhas?
You can, on Caillou, Revachol, a single black star, on Ozon, Fondelier, and Vimandu, on archipelagos, Croyan Moran, Villiers, on Seminine, Olduvai, and on Laurentide, Deora of the Seven Seas. 850 million people live on these little dots, an oceanic world of culture and commerce torn apart by history.
Caraca, 850 milhões de pessoas é bastante gente, né? Observe as bordas.
The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Windy is the north azimuth. Grad is the northeast azimuth. Samara is the east azimuth. Seol is the west azimuth. Isolas, they're called. You have little idea what they are. Distant stars, gods, but looking at them makes you feel almost non-existent. Whatever they are, the Isolas are immeasurably large compared to you, and very, very far away. Perhaps they are gods, gods of distance and outer dust.
Olha o mapa de Martinez.
It's not really a map, it's a tourist thing. A picture postcard with buildings on it, drawn from an isometric perspective. A date in the upper right corner says 48. Still, it's detailed. Could be pretty useful for scouting ahead. You see the jagged boxes of an industrial harbor, even the whirling in rags there.
Ok, atendente, eu posso comprar esses mapas?
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore. And besides, you could scarcely afford them.
Que isso?
They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though.
Por que o de Martinez é tão barato?
That old thing. It's an out-of-date map of a tourist location that never was nor came to be. From when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago. They also renovated the horse statue, set up those coin-operated viewers, and designed the new street lamps.
The place does not look like a successful tourist trap, does it?
O que aconteceu então?
They didn't get that far, for some reason. A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business.
Ok, eu quero comprar o mapa de Martinez.
Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
The
Interagir.
worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides on the upper right corner.
Trace caminho pela grade.
Your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue Saint-Cypar, over Saint-Brun and Martinez North. Finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself.
Ahá! Agora eu tenho um mapa. Olha só, né? Quem diria que um mapa é realmente um mapa? Parede de mapa. Craniometrista, container de lixo. Onde tá essa porta protegida? Onde eu tô, né? É a porta que eu tinha que abrir lá, né? Mas já foi. Um enforcado. Ah, eu já consegui também, né? Mas nada a ver. Eu pensei que tivesse fast travel. Como que eu faço fast travel, então? Caraca, aqui tinha uma roda gigante. No lugar que tinha um cara morto lá. Assim, esse mapa aí não é um mapa pra eu me localizar muito bem, né? É mais pra eu ver onde tem esses negócios aqui mesmo. Interessante, inclusive. Gostei, gostei. Por mim, ótimo. Tem um monte de livro aqui, mas não tô afim de explorar agora, não. Deixa eu ver os caras que tá lá no carro, né? Fazendo sei lá o quê. É aqueles dois esquisitos que eu vi que estavam disfarçados, não é? Eu acho que é. Acho que são, né? Caso. Não, são não, são não, são não. Não é porque... Aí, sumiu. É, não é porque tem um cara louro ali que é, não.
That's one brutal motor carriage.
Diz o jovem com escrito nas costas.
If I were a real skull now, I'd jack it, paint it in palm tree livery, then bottom light it, neon style.
O companheiro dele usa um slogan simples mas elegante. Fuck the world.
A snazzy shit-ripped skullmobile like this would make a fine trophy. We could, like, hang fucking shrunken heads from the side mirrors. Cops' heads. Scary tribal shit.
Beleza, eu ia falando isso pra dois policiais.
Yeah, tribal shit. A cop carriage like this would have proper skull value.
While I appreciate the interest you take in my brutal motor carriage, I have to stop you right there. The RCM takes threats directed at its property seriously.
It's just theoretical work, Copper. No basis in reality. Man, if we were certified skulls right now...
SKULLS. Now there's a strong organizational title.
Quem é você?
I can tell you who we're not, cop. We're not snitches, flow bears, or skulls.
Which is not to say that the skulls are bitches and... On the contrary.
The part of this presentation you want to take home with you, cop man, is we're not part of the skulls yet.
Okay then, let's indulge in some intellectual exchange. These young men seem eager to share their beliefs.
Quem são os SKULLS?
You don't know? What kind of cop are you?
Como que é? Ah, o negócio acabou, é? Pensei que eu tinha liberado uma nova. Sei lá.
It's not a question. Don't get into it.
Sou tão feliz que você perguntou.
The question was rhetorical. The Skulls are the most vicious gang of the Besmertne.
Besmetine, or the Besmeti, the Immortals, are West Rivisholian crime syndicates.
The nastiest bunch of psychos ever. Jacking carriages and getting into high-speed chases.
Possessing an infinite amount of fuck-all swagger, infamous for their non-verbal modus operandi.
Não verbal?
If a skull spots you, he will pull out his dagger and stab you without saying a word.
The lieutenant's voice is as calm as usual, a testament to the violence and death he's witnessed through the sight of his firearm.
They usually occupy the burnt-out quarter in Jamrock, or you can find them loitering around their brightly painted bottom-lighted vehicles.
I can't wait to become a skull. Bottom lights are wretched aggressive.
Você sabe alguma coisa sobre o assassinato que aconteceu aqui?
Nada.
Ok, eu quase morri aqui, sei lá. Mas tudo bem, voltando ao jogo, um homem foi enforcado no fundo do Raining in Rags.
Yeah, sure. We'll gladly tell you everything we know about it. It was a man.
Also, he was hanged.
Algo mais?
He was hanged from a tree.
Bom, bom.
Yeah, I mean, duh.
These punks don't know anything. Let's just move along.
Hey, stop right there. How does one know anything?
Ah, this sounds like epistemology, a field so occupied by thought that it begins to question thought itself. However, there is no way these young men could possibly be aware of her work.
Eu sei que você não sabe nada.
Exactly. How can one know shit? For example, how can one be sure that there truly is a body hanging behind a hostel?
What if it's art? Or just a mere specter?
Maybe it's true. The hanged man is merely a prop in a performance. We are the audience, and the artist is hiding somewhere in the dark.
Não, não é. Um homem está morto, precisamos de respostas, é isso.
So what do you think we know?
Vocês conhecem Cindy, a Skull?
Oh yeah, Cindy's a right proper skull.
Yeah, a true artist of the future. Just like Arno van Eyck.
By the way, if you see Cindy, give her our regards.
Ele acrescenta voltando de qualquer que seja o vazio que estava visitando.
For all their nihilistic posturing, these young men are not lacking in youthful idealism. The lieutenant on your left is unusually lenient toward them.
Vejo que vocês gostam de música dançante anódica.
Oh man, yeah. We're not fucking kids, man.
Be wary of the abyss.
O amigo loiro acrescenta ameaçadoramente e aponta para a própria têmpora.
Probably because of how non-verbal their mode of operation is going to be. It's a threat.
Uma ameaça? Bom, eu gosto disso.
But I don't. In fact, I dislike them so much I'm willing to drag you boys back to the station just to calm myself down.
Hey, there's no need for that. We're just talking here. Joking too. Stay light, man.
Yeah. Didn't you cops, have some questions about skulls or some shit?
Por que não há mais Skulls em Martinez?
The Union does their share of policing in Martinez, at least where gangs are concerned. That's why there isn't much organized crime around here.
Entendi, porque já tem um, que é o próprio sindicato, né? Entendi.
Don't you worry about that. We're gonna make up for the deficit.
Yeah, we are.
A sua retórica é confusa. Você faz parte dos Skulls ou não?
We're not franchise skulls. Well, not yet. Once we get our name out there, we'll have a chance to join them.
E o que te faz pensar que a organização aceitaria vocês? Você, no caso, né?
Because we can be just as psycho and vicious. You'll see.
But in a non-threatening and definitely legal way.
O outro rapidamente acrescenta e sussurra algo para o amigo.
We'll fuck the system from the inside later. Just be cool now. The damage will be tenfold.
Right on, fuck. So what's happening now?
Chega desses crânios então.
Mm-hmm.
O que há com as jaquetas?
What about them?
Por que a sua jaqueta tem PIS escrito nela?
Well, first off, it's a statement and not necessarily something that characterizes me as a person, even though the statement has character. And I do like piss. The word piss epitomizes the struggle taking place in the world. Things being defined as they seem, not as they are. And, I guess, it's also about communal spirit, the future, and truly appreciating our differences.
Caraca!
Also, you've got to admit, it catches the eye. And since the Grand Piper is slowly but steadily moving towards basing the economy on it, attention, it is imperative that the medium itself convey the message.
Faz sentido.
What I mean by this is, we are all pissed, and that the world is inherently meaningless.
It seems that the young man has a certain expertise in at least one field, even if it's rather narrow.
Ok, vire-se para o jovem de cabelos escuros. Por que você tem Fuck the World escrito em sua jaqueta?
Like I said before, many men keep searching for the one, for so-called true love, which is actually just obsession masquerading as kinship. The thrill of the chase, the hollowness that fills your chest cavity after catching it.
I'm wondering if the poetics come with the jacket, or are they derived from something else entirely?
To catch a fish, you'll need to hurl the lure many times, and even then it isn't certain that you'll get anything. If you blow up the lake, though...
Essa é uma metáfora terrível.
You get more fish in a shorter time. And, for time is of the essence and fleeting ever so quickly, one must think of a way to fuck the whole world and not get caught up in fucking someone. Because when one fucks everything, he fucks nothing. And that, to me, feels glorious. Sticking your dick into the void.
Caraca, que papo mais...
Hate to admit it, but in a weird way, he's got a point.
Que isso, retórica? Tá maluco?
Is it a coincidence that here we have two badass jackets and two badass cops?
Ei, Kim, abaixa a voz.
Yes?
O que você acha das jaquetas deles?
Leather jackets adorned with immature writing? The ideology they convey helps the boys justify poor choices in life and fashion. I'm not a fan.
Por que você é sempre tão condescendente quando possibilidades legais cruzam nosso caminho?
What are you implying?
Calma, é condescendente, na verdade, né? Condescendente, qual delas você usaria?
I'm not sure I understand you, detective.
Você é mais do tipo pseudo fuck the world.
Neither.
Vamos, Kim, é apenas um exercício mental.
Fine, if only to end this discussion. Theoretically, if I were a juvenile delinquent, if I were to already be down that path, I think peace is the stronger of the two statements.
É justo. Isso funciona, eu me sinto mais como um cara do tipo fuck the world.
Seems about right, especially considering your heroic exit attempts.
That's an origin story for a dynamic duo right there.
So are we done here? Or... you don't need us around for your secret whisper party, do you?
Bem, falar com você definitivamente foi interessante. Meia luz.
Fairweather T500.
Tinha esquecido disso.
Remember that weakness you were looking for in the ceramic armor? Like, maybe it can only stop small, fast projectiles, but a large, slow-moving pry bar would shatter it? Or, if I run an electrical current through it, maybe it will melt. Or, personal favorite, frequency something something radio weapon? None of that would work. You need to shoot the part of the enemy that doesn't have Fairweather T-500 on it, because the armor itself is invulnerable. Good news is, so are the armor pieces on you.
Contra mais 2 de coordenação motora contra inimigos em armadura FT-500. Não parece muito bom, não. Eu vou ter inimigos com armadura... Parece bem merda, inclusive. Mas tudo bem, né? Faz parte. Escolhi, agora já era. Meia luz. Eu tenho o que pra colocar de meia luz? Eu tenho bastante coisa, eu acho, né? Ou não, né? Ou era impressão minha. Mas eu sempre achei que eu tivesse bastante coisa. Tenho nada, na verdade. Caraca, tá de sacanagem. Ah, tem uma luva de meia luz. Nossa, não. Esquece. Vamos ver ali. Eu vou ligar pra saber sobre...
Inside, you see a set of steering levers,
O corpo
a radio
morto lá.
microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Conecte-me à biblioteca pública de Jamrock.
I'm afraid they're closed. It says here that the library is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
We should try again during business hours.
Anything else, detective?
Você descobriu mais sobre o dono das botas blindadas?
Sorry, sir. I still haven't heard back from the database people. Try calling again later. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Por favor, me conecte a Sylvie novamente.
Just a second. Sylvie Malaika. Yes. Hello?
Ei, Sylvie, é a polícia de novo.
Oh, great. What else do you need, detective?
Ah, nada, na verdade, não.
You hear the call.
Anything else I can help you with, Office 57?
Só testei pra ver se tinha alguma
You
coisa.
see a set of steering
Toque no
levers,
medidor
a
do
radio
pré-aquecedor de
on the hook. As
combustível.
you tap on the gauge, the indicator pin jerks as if startled. It's in the large orange sector.
Now, that's enough fun with the foldable headlights. I know they are mesmerizing. They are also fragile. I'm not going to...
Tá bom, eu já tinha visto isso já, né? Tá, então eu tenho 2 horas até o negócio tá pronto, né? Então... Vamos ver aqui se o gelo descongelou. Espero que sim.
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting.
Ah, está derretendo devagar, beleza. Então também não. O que eu posso fazer então? Pensa. Ah, posso conversar com um cara ali pra assumir a responsabilidade, né? A responsabilité, como que é? Algo assim, né? Calma, onde que ele fica? Aqui, né? Esse cara aqui, não é?
Vigilance officer.
Ah, não, esse é o
What
René.
can this old carabinier do for you?
É verdade, ele mandou ver quem? Trante? Quem que é Trante?
It is such a pleasure to see you again, officer.
Fumante. Às 9 horas. Cadáver. Tem que ligar a biblioteca. Esse daqui eu tenho que voltar pra falar com... Cadê? Eu tinha que voltar pra falar que eu não consegui abrir a porta lá com... o chefe do sindicato. Esqueci o nome. Eu poderia conversar com esse cara também, né?
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
Essas duas perguntas elas são talvez um pouco perigosas, né? A mulher falou pra eu não fazer isso, né? Deixa eu ir no 6 primeiro. Outro momento eu converso com ele. Deixa eu ver o cronometrista aqui.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you.
O problema desse negócio aqui é que... Ah, eu não vou me inscrever no negócio dele não, porque, sei lá, eu vou me tornar racista, né? Não tava muito afim, não. Por mais que dê vontade de fazer tudo, nesse caso específico eu não tô muito afim, não. Eu tenho algo que eu possa falar com aquele carinha do container? Será? Acho que não, né? O caminho pro outro lado é por aqui, né? Deixa eu conversar com o cara daqui. Só pra ver, né? Mas é muito engraçado, né, velho?
Welcome back, gentlemen. What can I do for you?
Conceitualização. Calma, é uma checagem vermelha?
Welcome back, gentlemen. What can I do for you?
É uma checagem vermelha. Checagem vermelha é foda, hein? Eu não tenho coisa suficiente de conceitualização, não. Ok, né? Assim, já adicionei 2 de conceitualização, né? Tivesse mais 1 ou mais 2, aí até dava, né? Não, dá não, dá não. Eu vou até ver, só pra ver como que fica. 58%, precisava de um pouquinho de nada a mais. Se eu beber ou se eu fumar. Se eu fumar, dá mais 1 de intelecto. Aí eu ficar... não. Eu preciso só de mais 1 item. Ou mais de 1 pontinho em conceitualização, que aí dá pra tentar. Mas sem isso aí eu acho que não rola, não. Mas tudo bem, depois eu tento então. Eu só queria testar, né, ver se... Sabe como é, né? Tinha alguma coisa nova, mas não. Deixa eu entrar aqui e conversar com o cara e falar, então, fui na porta, tava trancado e não deu pra abrir. Você me deu a chave, mas o que adiantou? Nada, né? Essa não é uma vara de pesca, é? É. Ok.
Mr. Dubois, every worker...
Todo trabalhador, isso se inclina em sua direção esperando que você complete sua frase. É um órgão do grande organismo estatal de guerra, além disso parece exatamente comigo. É membro do conselho?
That's right, Mr. Dubois. I see the socialist democratic fervor now burns in your heart too. How can I help you today?
Everett, sobre a doninha.
You fucked up. You waited too long, the weasel came back, and now you can't open the door I asked you to open.
Ah, olha só! Eu tinha que ter feito isso antes.
Everett forgives, Harry. Don't cry, my boy. It's gonna be all right. I'm still gonna tell you about the murder. That's just the way I am. Benevolent.
Eu pensei que tinha mais tempo.
Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good.
Ok, eu ouvi falar sobre uma conexão entre o linchamento e a greve. Eu gostaria de escutar o que você sabe sobre isso.
By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps.
Estou escutando.
Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
Cara, pô, agora eu tô triste que eu não consegui explorar aquele lugar. Se eu soubesse que tinha tempo.
I'm talking beasts. Hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant.
Espera um pouco, vocês têm um elefante na vila? Continue. Não, vou perguntar.
No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical and so is the village, but the mercs and their brutality are very real.
Continue.
Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container.
Espera, eles movem um container?
Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill.
Espere, toda a vizinhança está envolvida nisso?
Potentially, Harry, potentially. We got arm wrestling champions, rowing club people, ex-coal miners, tough guys, all ready to spring into action for their home base.
Quem exatamente fez a pressão?
There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood, making sure everything runs smoothly.
É os Hard Boys.
That sounds a bit like organized crime.
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
So these idealists killed our victim?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martin A's boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
Assim, é que ela não ajuda tanto assim quanto você acha não, cara.
He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error? Anyway.
Então, eu também acho. Havia uma bala na cabeça do homem enforcado.
So they shot him?
Ele parece agradavelmente surpreso.
He was shot in the head before he was hanged.
How odd. I don't know what to say, Lieutenant. They told me they hanged him. A hanged man is what I saw when I took a look into that yard.
Você foi lá?
It's impossible to say if he's telling the truth, sire.
What I do know is, the case is in safe hands. If anyone can get to the bottom of this shot and hanged man, it's my two little policemen. Godspeed, policeman.
Como você sabe que os mercenários foram contratados pela companhia de exportação?
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
E foi, né?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
O nome da companhia é Grenell. Grenell dessa vez. Pode ter sido Escumária antes.
Of course. You're always one step ahead of me, Harry. I'm no genius. I'm in this position because people like me.
Beleza, sei. Os mercenários restantes estão organizando um tribunal para peitar os Hardy.
Tribunal? That sounds serious, Harry. We Union men should be shitting ourselves. I wish you hadn't told me that. I'm gonna lose sleep over this. Let's change the subject.
Você não parece preocupado com isso.
You're right. You're right. My sleep isn't your concern. Tell me, Harry, what else can I help you with?
Eu cliquei no botão errado, caramba. Tudo bem, foda-se também. Você mencionou uma advogada, Mirim?
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal.
Wait, the girl by the whirling, who was keeping an eye on you. Is he talking about her?
Você mandou ela me espionar disfarçada como uma jardineira?
I did that, didn't I? She thinks of herself as a guerrilla fighter. These middle-class kids and the books they read are crazy, Harry. I think she would rather be an insurgent than a lawyer. I hope it's a phase.
Ok, fale-me sobre Titus Hardy e o bando dele.
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members. Always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative. They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind.
Agora, além de clicar errado, eu cliquei 2 vezes no negócio, né? Tudo bem. Só pulou uma frasezinha pequena.
Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
Né? Tudo bem, né?
He's betting on them being useless to you.
Everett, eu conheci esse rádio. Você pode pedir a eles pra eles cooperarem comigo? Eu vou falar só porque eu quero ver.
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk.
You can now go and tell Titus about this. See what he has to say.
A autoridade é muito baixa, né?
Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
Espera um pouco, por que você tá me dando isso?
I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real.
Eu não preciso disso, eu só queria sua ajuda com os Hard Boys.
Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. but I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else?
Boa conversa, vamos concluir por hora.
Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet. Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
Será que se eu fosse comunista, ele estaria acreditando? Ok.
A man of the left, so you have to be a social democrat.
O que isso quer dizer? Eu sou mais de esquerda do que você. Será? Eu quero falar isso só pra ver a reação dele.
You're saying it, but I don't believe you. You know how it is, company snitches, agent provocateurs everywhere. I'm barricaded in this fortress of mine, and I need to get a message out. Will you help me?
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
Kim, o que você acha disso?
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
But, he thinks, it's your call.
É sempre minha escolha, né?
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm gonna hand you the keys to Martinez, and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
He's saying as little as possible, as vaguely as he can, deliberately omitting things.
Pra que são as assinaturas?
I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry.
Putz, você quer dizer a vila de pescadores?
Yes, the little cul-de-sac on the coast, where all the men have drowned in either the sea or the bottle. A gloomy place, doesn't have that Union attitude.
You're already pretty deep into this. What's a little more? No one can see you here in Martinez.
O que vai acontecer com os moradores atuais?
They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre, designed by the best architects from Stella Marie.
Is he absolutely sure the tenants won't be thrown out in the street?
Você tem 100% de certeza que ninguém vai acabar sem teto?
Am I? Harry, these people, Martinez is the most important thing in my life. I would never let anything bad happen to them. We're gonna build a youth centre there. The value of their properties goes up and kids have a place to play in. I'm looking out for these people, not pulling the rug from under them, Harry. I'm looking out for all of Martinez, not just the harbour.
Tudo bem, se eu estiver por lá, eu posso pedir a eles.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here. You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I heard there was some trouble with the water lock, but it should be fixed now. Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then I'll know you're a solid socialist.
Claro. Se lembrei do container... Se lembra do... Ah, tá. Isso aqui já é lá no início de novo, né? Se lembra do container sobre o qual eu perguntei? Acontece que há um cara mega rico dobrador de luz lá dentro.
Mega rich light-bending guy? Oh my god. How did that get in there?
Ele é tão rico que poderia entrar em qualquer lugar.
Damn it to hell, Harry. I specifically told my guys to check all the containers for mega rich light-bending guys.
Quem diga a ele que ele estava lá?
There was a guy in the container, but he didn't bend any light. That was in the detective thread.
Honestly, guys, we might be moving all kinds of suspicious things through this harbor, but I won't be caught transporting the light-bending mega-rich. I have a reputation to protect.
Sim, o transporte de mega ricos deveria ser mais rigorosamente regulamentado. Não parecia que ele estava seguro. Beleza. Sim, pelo amor de Deus, você é um socialista.
You're right, Harry. I am a socialist. I'm going to catch the mega-rich guy inside the container and harvest his energy to power the harbor's fog lights. I shudder to think what you're going to tell me next, Harry.
Not for 1 second did he believe there's an actual mega-rich person somewhere in his container town.
Será que eu falo que o CC é loucura? Ainda não. Ou falo. Ou não. Ou falo ou não. Ou eu falo ou não. Vou falar. Vou falar pra ele começar a perceber que eu tô fudendo com ele. Acontece que os grevistas estavam sendo servidos de um sopão alcoólico. CC, isso é loucura.
I don't know what that means, Harry, but I love it. I love your initiative. Knowing you're out there keeping things running lets me focus on the big picture stuff. Don't even tell me what was going on. Alcoholic brew, stronger, stopped it, strike. I'm just gonna let you surprise me, Harry.
Ok.
See you soon.
Viu? Falei, ganhei experiência. O que eu ganhei aqui? Ah, tá a carta, né?
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum.
Tente achar uma brecha lógica. Calma aí. Eu vou só sair daqui primeiro. E eu posso aumentar a lógica a ponto de, né? A ponto de não ter como errar. Vamos lá, lógica, lógica, lógica. O que me dá lógica? Isso aqui me dá lógica. O que mais me dá lógica? Tem mais coisa que dá lógica, tenho certeza. Talvez fosse aquela coisa que diminuía a lógica ali. Pode ser. Tá, agora já tem uma porcentagem. Caraca! Tá, é impossível. Deve estar 100% já então. Vou até tentar, cadê?
You take the legal documents out of the envelope.
É, tá no máximo.
12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum.
Olha os planos de zoneamento.
The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall. It's going to be awfully close to the already existing buildings, almost wall to wall, practically integrating them into the youth center.
Kim, o que você acha disso?
I'm no property lawyer, but it looks fine. I like the print size. They're not selling or leasing anything. It's not a perfect solution, but...
How else are you going to build something? It's always inconvenient to build things, and citizens inevitably have disagreements over such construction projects. But there's no other way.
Vamos lá, tente achar uma brecha. Se eu perder, eu vou ficar muito, muito puto.
There is no loophole. The simple truth is, the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next door.
Espere, quais são as ramificações disso?
Once the construction starts, it'll probably take a few months, a year maybe, for even the most stubborn occupants to get tired of living like this. After that, they'll sell their property for cheap and move out.
Olha, Kim, a ponte para a fotocópia. Essas pessoas vão ter que se mudar. Podemos fazer alguma coisa?
I should have seen it.
O tenente resmunga enquanto lê o documento novamente.
Evrard probably has eyes on us, but We could try to get other people to sign this instead of those listed. Or you could forge their signatures yourself. By the time he finds out, we'll already be gone.
Ah, tá, tem menos 10 por causa daqui, né? Ok, coloque os documentos de volta no envelope. E eu tenho um ponto novo que eu vou colocar em alguma coisa, mas ainda não agora. De toda forma, agora eu vou encerrar esse vídeo por aqui. Muito obrigado por quem assistiu, espero que tenham gostado. Se inscrevam no canal se não forem inscritos, deixem um curtir. E valeu, falou!